welcome to Chetan Bharat Learning. In this video, we are going to cover the current affairs related to geography and environment portion that had been in news in the last week, in the period from 1st of October to 7th of October. So let us first of all have a look at the issues that we'll be covering in today's video. First of all, there was this article in Down to Earth regarding the zombie fires, and the article was in context of the Permafrost region. So what are these two things we'll be seeing in detail. Then this is the season of Delhi smoke. Winter season, the autumn season, winter season, the festive season. It is known for the Delhi smoke. There is excessive haze in the Delhi region. So what are the factors responsible for that? One of the factors responsible for that is stubble burning. So we'll be covering this topic in detail. There are different aspects of this issue. What is Delhi smoke all about, and what all are the factors responsible for Delhi smoke? And this topic is going to be in news quite frequently now. So we'll be covering this portion in bits and parts. Today we'll be addressing this issue of stubble burning. Then a conference is being organized in the city of Bonn in Germany, Daring Cities Conference, and Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal has been invited to speak in this conference. So we'll be covering certain facts related to this conference. Then a very important strategic infrastructure, Atal Tunnel, has been recently inaugurated, linking the under the Rohtang Pass region, linking the Manali region with the Lahaul and Spiti region of Himachal Pradesh, providing all-weather connectivity to the Ladakh region. So we'll be covering certain facts related to this. Then Indian Meteorological Department has launched a new monsoonal calendar on the basis of new data that they had collected from 1960s to 2019. We'll be covering what are the changes introduced in the new calendar in this topic. And lastly, we'll be seeing certain places that had been in news. For example, this Nagorno-Karabakh region, it had been in news because a war is raging between Armenia and Azerbaijan in this region. So we'll be covering where this map related facts related to this, not the topic per se, because that's not the domain of the environment. And then Makkah, city of Makkah had been in news because the Hajj pilgrim has been restarted, has been reinitiated to Makkah. So we'll be covering certain geographical facts, map related facts regarding these two places. So let us start with our first topic, that is permafrost and the zombie fires. So there was this article regarding zombie wildfires in the Down to Earth magazine. First of all, let us understand what the zombie fires are. They have given a very comic name to the fires, the zombie fires. But this is the more technical name, the holdover fires. In general, world over, we are experiencing increasing instances of forest fires. You are seeing increasing instances of fires in California, in South America, in Australia, in India. World over, there are increasing instances of forest fires. Again, one of the factors that is implicated in this phenomena is the climate change and global warming. Of course, human factors are there, other factors are there, but one of the factors that we can ascribe this phenomena to is climate change and global warming. Same thing is happening in the Arctic region also. The extreme North Arctic region, we call it the tundra region, the tundra topography, and the region just below the Arctic Circle. That region is known as taiga region or taiga topography या फिर boreal region. Towards the north of Arctic Circle is tundra topography, and towards the just below the Arctic Circle is the taiga region or the boreal region, the coniferous forest region extending from Alaska to Canada to Scandinavian countries, Norway, Sweden, Finland, moving on to Russian region and all the way till the tip of Russia in the Bering Strait. So all over the North America surrounding the Arctic Circle, just below the Arctic Circle is the taiga region, full of coniferous forest, full of permafrost. So we'll study what permafrost is. Forest fires in the tropical, subtropical, temperate regions, it's fine. But even in the region as cold as Arctic, as cold as tundra and taiga, we are experiencing increasing instances of wildfires. This is quite strange, and again, one of the factors to which we can attribute this is climate change and global warming. So what is special about these zombie fires? Why they are called zombie fires or the holdover fires? First of all, let us have a look at that. Let us say a forest was burnt in a particular season because of XYZ human activity, because of, let's say, burning, or because of temperature rising, and in general dry straw lying over and it catching fire. Because of any XYZ reason, a forest was burnt. In the Arctic region, in the tundra or taiga region, because the summer season is very short in these regions, it is possible that within, let's say, a month or two, the winter season arrived and the fire was suppressed. But it was not completely dozed off. It was not completely put off. The winter snow, it just superficially covered the burning carbon, the burning peat that was underlying the surface of the forest, that was making up the soil of the forest or the tundra topography. The overlying snow simply suppressed it, that it became less visible, but it was continuously simmering. When the next summer season arrived, when the next hot season, warmer season arrived, then the snow melted and the underlying soil that was simmering for a very long period of time, the fire was reignited in the next warm season. This reignited fire is known as the holdover fire or the zombie fires. So we are experiencing increasing instances of zombie fires in these regions. So needless to say, you can experience the zombie fires only in this region, because only here you will find the conditions that the simmering fire was overlain by the snow, or you can experience it in the high mountainous regions. Now, another aspect related to this is the permafrost. What is permafrost? It is not, one is you study this term ice cap. The large portions of ice, basically it is the ice per se that you find in Antarctica, in the edges of Antarctica, that you find in Greenland, that you find in Arctic Ocean, the frozen ice per se. Frozen ice per se is not permafrost. Yes, this is the first thing that I want to tell you. Rather, permafrost refers to permanently frozen ground. We are talking here not of water like freezing to ice. We are not talking of ice. We are talking of permanently frozen ground or permanently frozen soil. This diagram aptly portrays, this image aptly portrays what permafrost is. There is this layer of soil overlying which is rich in carbon, and beneath this layer of overlying soil is a layer of permanently frozen ground. This is the layer of permafrost. How is this permafrost formed? Of course, low temperature is a prerequisite condition, but it is not ice per se, and the point I'm trying to emphasize. Let's say if this is our ground, like I'll be comparing the situation in the normal regions, and then I'll be shifting to the tundra regions or the taiga regions where the permafrost is found. What happens normally is this is the ground, and you dig the soil and you observe the soil, you analyze the soil. There will be empty spaces, blank spaces void spaces between the soil particles. In the normal conditions, those void spaces between the soil particles, they'll be filled either with water or with air. When you irrigate the soil, the blank spaces, the void spaces between the soil particles, they get filled with water. Then there is this term that we use to denote groundwater table. What is this groundwater table? The depth at which the void spaces in the soil particles, they are completely filled with water. They are saturated with water. Normally, like I just said, normally if you pick soil from this layer, the soil voids would be either empty, filled with air, or filled with water. But there exists this depth beyond which the soil void particles, soil void spaces, they are filled completely with water. So this soil is saturated with water. The depth at which this soil is formed, this saturated soil is formed, is known as groundwater table. So far so good. This is the normal situation. Now imagine this particular case, this particular situation in the tundra regions, in the Arctic regions, in the taiga regions, extremely cold conditions. Now in such extremely cold conditions, what happens is this layer, this saturated layer of water, it gets frozen. This frozen layer is known as permafrost, and for permafrost it has to be permanently frozen. जिसका नाम ही permafrost है, it is named permafrost. It has to be permanently frozen. If it is seasonally frozen, let's say in winter season this portion gets frozen and in the summer season this portion melts, then this is not permafrost. Permafrost requires that the portion has to be this portion of soil, this portion of ground, it has to be permanently frozen. We take the criteria, at least it must be frozen for 2 consecutive years. Certain portions, they are also seasonally frozen. They may be intermittently frozen. But permafrost requires freezing at least for 2 consecutive years. So this is what permafrost is. Now I want to discuss what is the ecological function of permafrost. Now again I'll be comparing the situation with the normal, what happens in tropical, subtropical, other areas of the world. Plants grow in soil. What about the dead plants? The dead plants, they get deposited on the soil surface. Ultimately, this dead organic matter, these dead remains of plants and animals, they are decomposed by the soil bacteria. And what happens after decomposition? The carbon compounds, the nutrients that were constituting their bodies, the carbon gets converted into carbon dioxide, nitrogen gets converted into nitrogen oxides, nitrogen compounds. Similarly, sulfur compounds, they get converted into sulfur dioxide. So decomposition takes place. But you know that bacterial activity is inhibited in the low temperature conditions. When the temperature is extremely low, bacteria cannot properly function. Their activity is inhibited. Now imagine the situation in the permafrost regions. It is otherwise very cold air. The air temperature is very low and the soil beneath is permanently frozen in such extreme cold conditions. Even in the summer season, this portion does not melt. This is still, even in the summer season, this portion is permanently frozen. In such extremely cold conditions, what about this soil bacteria present over here? Would they be able to decompose the carbon compounds present in this region, the dead organic matter present in this layer of soil? No. So what happens is, this dead organic matter is trapped in this region, is permanently stored in this region without decomposition. Had this carbon content, had these dead remains of plants and animals been decomposed, so carbon would have converted into carbon dioxide and it would have merged with the atmospheric carbon dioxide. It would have increased the greenhouse emission. But because of this permafrost, the carbon remains trapped over here. In this way, permafrost acts as a carbon sink, a permanent natural storehouse of carbon. Now relate both the topics, the forest fire topics, the zombie fire topics and the permafrost topic. Because of zombie fires, what is happening is the permafrost is melting. Obviously, because permafrost is melting, what is the ecological effect of it? One is that the fires are raging, the very fact that fires are raging, it is contributing to greenhouse emissions, it is contributing to carbon dioxide emissions because of the fire itself. The domino effect, what is the domino effect of this thing? That because of the forest fires, zombie fires, the permafrost also is melting. Now this is contributing to decomposition of the organic content that was present over here. The decomposition of the organic content that has been stored here from thousands of years. The decomposition of the carbon content that was permanently stored in this carbon sink. So carbon sinks are getting deteriorated because of climate change, because of forest fires. And this is a kind of positive feedback. Like melting of permafrost is a kind of positive feedback. What is a positive climate feedback? You start with a certain thing, there is certain causative effect of that thing, and what is the implication of that thing? It enhances the causative effect so that the entire cycle is deteriorate and the entire cycle is aggravated. For example, let us start with let us take the example of permafrost only. Because of global warming, what is happening is permafrost is melting. What is the consequence of melting of the permafrost? That carbon is getting decomposed and resulting in formations of increased carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. If the carbon emissions would increase, what would happen because of the increased carbon emissions? Ultimately, more greenhouse effect. More greenhouse effect would contribute to more global warming. More global warming would contribute to permafrost melting. So whatever is happening, it is enhancing the every next step. Global warming, permafrost melting, carbon dioxide, greenhouse effect, global warming, permafrost. So these things are giving a push to every next step. So such a feedback is known as positive climate feedback. And this is a very bad thing. If the permafrost is melting, because it is contributing to even more carbon emissions, so it would contribute to even more global warming. So we need to check this thing. So this was the article that was dealing with. And one more information I want to give you regarding the permafrost topography. What happens? You see this image. This was the region of permafrost. But because of again global warming, or let's say forest fires, zombie fires, the permafrost in this region is melting. Now it's not that the entire permafrost melts all of a sudden. The permafrost would melt from certain regions and it would continue to be in place at certain regions. So permafrost regions would convert into intermittently frozen regions, seasonally frozen regions, or seasonally frozen regions would convert into intermittently frozen regions. So such like things. And a point would come when a region, a particular area would become permanently melted. So what happens is such type of topography is formed. The region, these small lakes that you are observing in this topography, these lakes are formed as the result of melting of the permafrost, deterioration of the permafrost. So this topography is known as thermocrost. I want to give you this term, thermokarst topography. Those of you who have already studied geography or will be eventually covering it in our pre-com mains course, but those of you who have already covered geography, they must be aware with this term. They must be aware of this term, karst topography. We use this term for limestone dominated regions which are eroded by running water or eroded by underground water. Now this is a region, this is the image of karst topography, just a way to understand. This region was dominated by limestone rocks, calcium carbonate dominated rocks. Now calcium carbonate or limestone, it gets dissolved in water. So what happens is the underground water, it penetrates the surface water, it becomes underground water, and underground water flows between these rocks, and in the process the rocks get dissolved. So if this rock gets dissolved, what would happen is the overlying surface, it may collapse. If this rock gets dissolved in water, the overlying surface will collapse. So in general, this karst topography, it is rich in, it is represented by presence of numerous depressions, sinkholes, swallow holes, इस तरह से. So similar topography is observed in case of permafrost regions as well, where melting of permafrost takes place, where thawing, this term thaw is also used for melting. Thawing of permafrost or melting of permafrost, one and the same thing. Here, why the surface was collapsing? Because the rocks beneath, they were getting dissolved. Here, why the region is dominated by depressions? Because the underlying solid frozen surface is getting melted, resulting in formation of lakes, resulting in increased greenhouse gas emissions, both carbon dioxide and methane. Carbon dioxide as a result of complete decomposition, and in general the marshy area that is formed, the wetland area that is formed, it results in emission of methane. Marshy areas, they are known for emission of methane gas. So this was the entire topic regarding permafrost and zombie fires. So you'll get detailed notes regarding this in the notes attached with this video. Next topic is incentive for not burning stubble burning unviable. This is the news regarding the topic stubble burning. Ever since the relations were established between the stubble burning in the agricultural states of Punjab, Haryana and UP and the Delhi pollution, government has been taking certain steps to discourage this practice of stubble burning. And one of the steps that government had been taking was providing financial incentives. When like certain extra amount is paid to the farmers over and above the normal selling price, that would incentivize them not to burn their stubble. So what this issue is all about, the recent news was regarding the fact that EPCA, the Environment Pollution Control Authority, it had mentioned that this financial incentivizing of not stubble burning is not viable in the long term. So what this issue is, let us have a look. And this issue is going to be in news for, like I said earlier, for quite a while. So we'll be covering this very extensive issue in bits and parts. Today we'll be covering the issue of stubble burning. First of all, the first questions first, why stubble burning? In the states that we are talking of, Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, usually mechanized, Western UP, usually mechanized agriculture is being practiced. So you sow the paddy crop and you use combined harvesters to harvest the paddy crop. What happens is, as a result of that, as a result of use of combined harvester, what the harvester machine does is, it cuts the crop from a certain height above the ground. What is left behind is these small straws, this small portion of crop, which is eventually burnt to clear the land for the next sowing season. You get a very short time between the harvest of the paddy crop and growing of the wheat crop. So in that short span, the easiest method to dispose of, to let go of this stubble, to let go of this straw is to burn the stubble. Hence, the problem of stubble burning. But because the time is very less, and moreover it has an added advantage also, the ash that is produced, it enriches the soil as well. It improves the water retention of that soil. So that's an additional benefit. So this is the traditional method, most preferred method of disposing of the straw. But it is contributing to Delhi smoke, Delhi pollution, and in general it is contributing to greenhouse gas emissions. The sulfur dioxide is produced, nitrogen oxides are produced, carbon dioxide of course is produced, and incomplete combustion produces carbon monoxide. So lot many greenhouse gases are produced as a result of this practice. In general also it is leading to environmental degradation, and specifically it is contributing to Delhi smoke. So we need to tackle this practice of stubble burning. What can we do in this regard? How to tackle this practice of stubble burning? The first thing that comes to our mind is there should be ban on stubble burning, ban on the practice of stubble burning. The practice itself should be prohibited, and of course it should be accompanied with penalties, fines and things like that if you want the proper enforcement of the ban. This thing is already being done, but this is a superficial solution. Like, you have banned a certain practice, but farmers have been continuing with this practice. Farmers have been engaging in this practice from a very long period of time for a certain reason, that they get very short time between the harvesting season and the growing season, in which they have to dispose of the stubble, in which they have to dispose of the crop residue, and there is no viable alternative available to them. You have to make the practice, you have to make viable alternatives available to the farmers. Only then they will shift to other methods. What should they do with their crop residue? One thing that they can do is, again, which is being implemented on a certain level, they can sell their crop residue to the government or whosoever intends to purchase it from them. That way it will provide them a financial incentive also. Okay, instead of burning, one was incentivizing by the government. Okay, you have not burnt your stubble, we are giving you direct financial incentive. This aspect addresses the problem of disposal as well. The government has set up stubble purchase centers, straw purchase centers, residue purchase centers, parali khareed kendra. So, in which government is purchasing the crop residue from the farmers and paying them off as well. Of course, nominal amount, not a very big amount. But what would government do with that residue? What is the incentive available with the government to do that? What can government do? In this context, government can use it in waste to energy plants. We can have biogas plants, we can have waste to energy plants as well, where waste is converted to energy, where waste may be converted to biogas, biomethanation can be done. And one more thing, again technology comes to our help. This new technology of torrefaction, it helps convert stubble into biocoal. This biocoal, it can be used as refuse derived fuel. From the waste we have converted, we have made a fuel, and this fuel can be used in industries, it can be used in furnaces and things like that, it can be used in domestic burning. So you can convert this waste into energy. This is one viable alternative. The other alternative, this is a kind of, you can say, ex situ technique. You have transported the stubble to a different center, and where it is transformed to a better alternative, better fuel, and then it is used as a fuel. This is an you can call it an ex situ method. The other method that we are talking, that we'll talk of, is the in situ method. What can you do on field? So here comes the role of this happy seeder machine and super SMS machine. SMS is straw management system, sorry. So what do these machines do? Problem with the combined harvesters was that they were leaving way too portion of the crop, way too large portion of the crop on the field itself. What this super SMS does, super straw management system machine does, it first of all, it ensures that very little portion of the stubble is left behind. Very little stubble is left behind. The rice crop, the standing crop, is cut from the very base. Then whatever is the extra portion, the non-grained portion or the straw portion of the cut part, it is simply spread over the soil. It is simply spread over the field, evenly spread over the field. What does it do? You must have studied about this term mulching. What is mulching? Mulching is basically covering the soil with the crop residue, with an organic medium, so that the soil is not exposed to the sunlight. This is one of the methods that prevents soil erosion, that prevents soil moisture as well, because the sun is not exposed to this, the soil is not exposed to the sun. Then it would help preserve the soil moisture as well, because the soil is not exposed. The dry soil on which there are no crops standing burning, because that soil is not exposed to wind. It would be prevented from the effect of the wind erosion as well. So what you are doing over here is using this machine, super seeder machine. You are using the straw to cover the soil with the crop residue. You use it for mulching purposes. It prevents soil erosion, it conserves soil moisture. But what was the problem? Why were we not doing this earlier? This is the something that should come to our mind naturally. Problem is that the soil needs to be prepared for the next sowing season, as we have discussed earlier. When you would plow the soil, you cannot plow the soil in a field that is mulched. Here comes the role of happy seeder. Instead of traditional method of sowing wheat, using the plows and preparing the field, what this happy seeder does is, it uses drilling procedure to directly drill the wheat seeds into the moist soil, into the soil where the moisture has been already conserved using the super SMS machine and the mulching techniques. You use the drilling techniques to directly sow the wheat seeds into the soil. So this is one way in which you can avoid this problem of stubble burning, in one way in which farmers can be persuaded to avoid stubble burning. So the 2x-C2 and in-situ methods we have discussed, this is the things that can be tried. Now moving on to some other aspects, because we are discussing this topic because EPCA had made a statement that the financial incentivizing of not burning, stubble burning, is not viable in the long term for the government. What is this EPCA? EPCA is a Supreme Court mandated body that was notified in 1998 under the Environmental Protection Act 1986. Now, this body is mandated to control air pollution in the National Capital Region of Delhi. Already, we have Central Pollution Control Board, CPCB, and we have the State Pollution Control Boards. All the states have their own pollution control boards. Despite this already existing structure, Supreme Court in 1998 had mandated that a separate body should be formed under the Environmental Protection Act to take care of air pollution in Delhi. Air pollution in Delhi had been in news from quite a long time. Earlier also, the entire transportation system of Delhi was shifted from diesel dominated public transport to CNG dominated public transport. So all those things had already been in news, and Supreme Court had mandated the formation of this new body. Now what this new body is doing in the present circumstances, what is the key mandate of this body? It is primarily, first of all, you should know that this body is not all India. This is primarily mandated to control air pollution in National Capital Region. And how it tries to ensure that? What is the specific role given to it? It is specifically supposed to enforce graded response action plan. What is this graded response action plan? Already in 2016, we have come up with this concept of air quality index, where we are monitoring 8 pollutants, and depending upon the concentration of those 8 pollutants, we are classifying the air quality into 6 different categories: good, satisfactory, moderately poor, poor, severe, such like things. Now, depending upon the air quality in Delhi, in this particular season and otherwise as well, we have framed a graded response action plan. If the air quality in Delhi is severe, then these are the steps we are going to take. If the air quality in Delhi is very poor, these are the steps we are going to take. If the air quality in Delhi is moderately poor, these are the steps we are going to take. So, more severe the air quality in Delhi, more aggressive steps shall be taken. For example, in the extreme category, we are going to implement the odd and even scheme. We are shutting down the thermal power plants, we are shutting down the schools, or we are shutting down the construction activities for a certain period of time. So, such like things are going on according to the severity of the pollution in Delhi. And who is mandated to implement this GRAP, Graded Response Action Plan? EPCA is mandated to enforce it. So this was the basic information that you should keep in mind while the air pollution in Delhi is being discussed. Another prelims related fact, recently, on like 1 or 2 days ago only, Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal, he had launched this new campaign, Yudh Pradushan Ke Viruddh campaign. So basically nothing new. The earlier set of guidelines that had already been issued, the graded response action plan that had already been framed, they are supposed to implement this plan in a more aggressive manner. They have identified certain hotspots where the more pollution activities are being done. So they'll be monitoring those hotspots and taking effective actions. But you should remember the name of this campaign, Yudh Pradushan Ke Viruddh. Again, related to Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal Daring Cities Conference 2020. Why it had been in news? Because Delhi CM Kejriwal, he has been invited to participate in this conference. One of the 5 urban leaders from the world who has been invited to speak at this conference. Basically, what this conference is all about. This conference, this is a kind of global forum which is engaged in climate change for urban leaders who are tackling the climate change in their respective urban regions. The municipalities, the mayors of different cities, they are being invited in this forum depending on what actions they are taking to tackle climate change in their respective urban areas. It is not a like government level forum. It is the forum that invites urban leaders from the world, so that like all of us can share their experiences. They can share their experiences, they can tell the stories from their respective regions, and the world can learn from the actions taken in different cities, and we can have a better sustainable urban infrastructure, climate resilient urban infrastructure. We can mitigate the effects of climate change and adapt ourselves to the future calamities that may happen as the result of climate change. So this initiative, it was started in around 1990, and at present the permanent secretariat, the headquarters of this initiative is in Bonn, Germany, the city of Bonn in Germany, and every year the conferences are being organized. So it was in news because Delhi CM had been invited to participate in this conference, and the idea, whatever the focus this initiative is having, this is also enumerated in UN SDG 11 that deals with sustainable cities and communities. So the same idea is communicated in the SDG as well. Then a very important strategic infrastructure that has recently been inaugurated is Atal Tunnel, connecting the Himachal Pradesh, the Manali Kullu Valley region of Himachal Pradesh with Lahaul Spiti region of Himachal Pradesh. Eventually, this tunnel is going to enhance our connectivity to the Ladakh region. What is the strategic importance of this tunnel? First of all, you know that this Ladakh region is strategically quite sensitive region given the recent activities of China in this region. What about our existing connectivity with the Ladakh region? The existing connectivity with Ladakh is primarily from Jammu and Srinagar region. Though it is the longer route, but this is the primary route as far as connectivity to Ladakh is concerned, connectivity to Leh is concerned. Jammu to Srinagar, crossing the Zojila Pass, then we reach the Ladakh region. But because of the increasing strategic importance of this region, we are trying to develop an all-weather connectivity route connecting Himachal Pradesh region with the Ladakh region. Already there exists Manali-Leh highway. Those of you who have visited Manali, they are definitely aware of the Rohtang Pass, the famous Rohtang Pass. But the problem is that this Manali-Leh highway, it remains snow covered for almost 6 months a year. The pass is open only from around April, May to October. So no all-weather connectivity is there as far as this route is concerned, and Atal Tunnel addresses this deficiency. Above the bypassing the Rohtang Pass, here is the Manali region, and Manali, the older route went via Rohtang Pass. This is the Lahaul and Spiti region. Bypassing the Rohtang Pass region, we have developed an alternative route. We have developed an alternative tunnel, Atal Tunnel, that provides all weather connectivity to this route. So now I guess you understand the strategic importance. Certain basic information regarding the factual information regarding the tunnel we can go through. It's a horseshoe shaped tunnel, single tube, double lane tunnel around 9 km long, and as a result of that, it is the world's longest highway tunnel that connects Manali with the Lahaul and Spiti region. Geography wise, it is located in the eastern Pir Panjal region. Pir Panjal mountains are primarily located in Jammu Kashmir region, but a portion of them extends also in the Himachal Pradesh region. So it is located in the eastern Pir Panjal region. This entire, here are the Pir Panjal mountains. And the road is built by Border Roads Organization. All the border roads, they are built by, most of the border roads, they are developed by the Border Roads Organization. What is the importance? I guess I have already emphasized it enough that it will provide the all-weather connectivity to the Ladakh region. Of course, it will shorten the travel time as well by certain hours, by 4 or 5 hours, and by around 50 kilometers. So this is all as far as the Atal Tunnel is concerned. The next topic is the new monsoon calendar issued by Indian Meteorological Department. Today, this year, monsoon withdrawal took place on, the initiation of the monsoon withdrawal took place on 28th of September. All of us, when we were small, when we were studying in school, we must have studied about the onset of summer. Ki monsoon aane wala hai. Monsoon will hit the Indian coast, the Kerala coast on 1st of June. The monsoon will hit Punjab on, let's say, 1st of July. We are continuously listening things like that in every monsoon season. This year the monsoon was delayed by 4 days. This year the monsoon was delayed by 10 days. Why do we say so? Because Indian Meteorological Department had analyzed the data on the basis of previous monsoons, and it had given certain dates that the monsoon would hit the coast of Kerala on 1st of June. The monsoon would start withdrawing on 1st of September. This date is with respect to Kerala because the monsoon hits the Kerala region. And then after traveling through entire India, the monsoon starts withdrawing from the northwest. It travels all over India and it starts withdrawing from northwest of India back towards Kerala, back towards Indian Ocean. So withdrawal starts from the northwest of India around 1st of September. The extreme region of Punjab, the extreme northwest region of Punjab. These were the older dates that we had been studying. And these dates were based on data collected from 1940 to 1960s, 1950s, 60s. Of course, there was a need to update this data. Indian Meteorological Department, it had been monitoring the monsoon pattern continuously, and on the basis of new data collected between 1960s and 2019, it has come up with a new monsoon calendar. So there was certain modification of the dates, the arrival dates and the withdrawal dates of monsoons. As far as arrival in India is concerned, this date is still 1st of June. Hitting of the monsoons on the Kerala coast is concerned. But the eventual arrival of monsoon in different parts of India, at what date monsoon will hit Delhi, at what date the monsoon will hit Punjab, at what date the monsoon will hit Bihar, the arrival dates of monsoon in different parts of India, they have been modified. For example, in the northwest of India, if we talk about the extreme northwest of India, the Punjab region, the last region to experience monsoons in India, the arrival date has been modified from 15th of July earlier to 8th of July. In the same way, the withdrawal dates. The withdrawal date, which was earlier 1st of September, now it has been changed to 17th of September. Significance that now the new dates, they are more aligned with the recent pattern. We can have better predictions, we can have better preparations as far as monsoons are concerned. For example, this year the monsoon withdrawal took place on 28th of September. Had we been following the earlier calendar, we would have said that the monsoon is delayed by around 28 days. The Indian Meteorological Department was so flawed in its prediction that the monsoon, or you can say the monsoon, was so erratic that it was delayed by a period of 28 days. Not 1 day, not 2 days, not a week. But according to the new dates, the withdrawal was delayed only by 11 days. It was supposed to start withdrawing on 17th of September. It actually withdrew on 28th of September. So the delay is only of 11 days. So we can better predict, we can better be prepared for the irregularities in the monsoons if we follow the new calendar. And this is all the more important given the fact that India is primarily an agricultural country. We should know that when monsoon is coming, when should we expect the monsoon, so that we can arrange our sowing, irrigating and agricultural activities according to that. Lastly, we'll be covering certain places that had been in the news lately. One was Nagorno-Karabakh region. This region, it had been the site of a bloody conflict, a violent conflict that is going on between Azerbaijan and Armenia. This region lies in the Caspian Sea, Black Sea region. Over here you see the Caucasus Mountains. And this region, Armenia, Azerbaijan and Georgia, where Caucasus Mountains are present, this region the region itself is known as Caucasus region because of the Caucasus Mountains. So 3 Caucasus countries you need to remember: Azerbaijan, Armenia and Georgia. I am not going into the political aspects of the conflict. I am only elaborating on the map related aspects of this region. So this region, Nagorno-Karabakh region, technically it is legally it is part of Azerbaijan, but it is virtually autonomous, virtually independent, and is controlled by Armenia. Lately, a bloody conflict, like I said earlier, has erupted between Armenia and Azerbaijan over this region. So what you have to keep in mind from the point of view of geography and maps: this Caucasus Mountains, Caucasus region and the 3 Caucasus countries: Azerbaijan, Armenia, Georgia. This Caucasus region, it lies between Caspian Sea. This water body that you see over here is Caspian Sea, and on the other side of Georgia is Black Sea. So this Caucasus region lies between Caspian Sea in the east and Black Sea in the west. Azerbaijan lies on the Caspian Sea side, Georgia lies on the Black Sea side, and sandwiched between them is Armenia. So this thing that you have to keep in mind. The other region that we can discuss in this class is, that we are going to discuss in the class is Mecca, the holy city, the holiest city of Muslims. This is located on the Red Sea side of, not the Red Sea coast, the Red Sea side of Saudi Arabia. Why it had been in news? Because the Hajj pilgrimage, Muslims, they are supposed to go on the Hajj pilgrimage at least once in their lifetime. So Hajj pilgrimage, it had been discontinued in light of COVID. Now it has been reinitiated. Regarding the geographical aspects of Makkah, it is located on the Red Sea side of Saudi Arabia. Whenever we talk of Gulf countries, whenever we talk of the West Asian countries, one thing that first comes to our mind is the Persian Gulf, and we naturally assume that the cities would be on the Persian Gulf side. But some of the important cities of Saudi Arabia, they are located on the Red Sea side of the Arabian Peninsula. Makkah, Medina, Jeddah, these are some of the important cities in this region, and this region is known as Hijaz region. The hilly region that separates the desert region of Saudi Arabia from the Red Sea. Most of this Arabian Peninsula, it is a desert. This entire region is the Arabian Desert, one of the largest deserts in the world, one of the continuous largest stretch of sands in the world. But this desert region, it is separated from Red Sea by a hilly region that we call Hijaz region, and Makkah is located in this region. As far as the Arabian Desert is concerned, like I said, one of the largest desert, but it can be divided into different parts. The northern portion of the desert is the Nafud Desert. The southern portion of the desert is the Rubal Khali Desert, and the intervening portion, the portion joining these two deserts, is the Dahana Desert. So these are the three subparts of the Arabian Desert. In general, you should remember that the Arabian Desert is one of the largest deserts in the world. So this was all as far as this week's current affairs related to geography and environment were concerned. I hope you would have enjoyed the class. That's all from my side. Thank you.